Hello, everybody. I'm Lou Mongello from WDWRadio.com. I'm the author of the Walt Disney World trivia books, the audio guides to Walt Disney World, and the publisher of Celebrations magazine. Welcome to this week's WDW Newscast. Today is December 15th, 2010. Be sure and join us every Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern for a live interactive discussion about the Walt Disney World Resort news. If you can't make it, be sure and come by the channel over at youtube.com/WDWRadio, where you can watch that week's live broadcast, keep the conversation going in the comments section below. You can get notified of upcoming shows, breaking news, and my updates by following me on Twitter. I'm twitter.com/LouMongello, and by joining the friend page over at facebook.com/WDWRadio. Let's get right into this week's news from Walt Disney World. Again, a relatively quiet week, but the somewhat breaking news this week is that we finally, from Disney, get a date for the closing forever of Mickey's Toontown Fair. That date is going to be February 11th, 2011. According to Disney, after that time, the following changes are going to take effect. Mickey, Minnie, and the Disney princesses are going to move to Town Square in the current location of the Town Square Exhibition Hall, which makes me think that that might actually change names because they're calling it the currently known as Town Square Exhibition Hall. Until that location is ready, they're going to meet and greet guests throughout the Magic Kingdom at locations to be determined. Again, this is all taking place because of the expansion of Fantasyland that's going to take place over the next couple of years. Tinkerbell is going to be relocating over to Disney's Hollywood Studios while they continue to work on Fantasyland. I have a feeling she's going to be taking over the Narnia exhibit, which is right next to Walt Disney One Man's Dream in the back half of Disney's Hollywood Studios. Her fairy friends are going to appear later on in the spring over in Epcot, and the Walt Disney World Railroad is going to continue operation, but the Toontown station is going to close alongside Toontown. So it's going to be interesting to see as you ride the railroad how much you might be able to get a look at the expected demolition of Mickey's Toontown Fair. Once it does close, Disney is offering a number of other options for guests. Of course, I have to throw in a quick and shameless plug here. It's a great time to go out and get my audio guide to Toontown Fair. You have just a couple of months left to go through, experience, learn about Toontown's history, details, and overlooked experiences. Again, you can get the Toontown Fair audio guide over at WDWRadio.com/shop. So Disney's offering options for people. So instead of the Barnstormer at Goofy's Wiseacre Farm, Disney is recommending that you try out the Tomorrowland Speedway. Instead of Toon Park, Disney recommends you let your little ones from age 2 to 5 burn off their excess energy over at the Laugh-In Place near Splash Mountain. Instead of Donald's Boat, they want you to head on over to Adventureland, get sprayed by the Leaky Tikis over by the Jungle Cruise, and instead of the face painting area in Mickey's Toontown Fair by Pete's Garage, you can get a makeover at the Pirates League or the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, and they will have face painting throughout other areas of the park. Now, there is a rumor associated with not just the closing of Mickey's Toontown Fair, but this entire Fantasyland expansion as well, that seems to be getting some legs once again. It's been rumored, and people have told me, that members of Walt Disney Imagineering have been spotted hanging around the inside and outside of Snow White's Scary Adventure, taking a lot of pictures. The new rumor is that that may go away, and Snow White might take up new residence somewhere else in Fantasyland, and a new attraction may come into the location of really a classic opening day attraction in Walt Disney World. So my question to you is multiple-fold. Number one, are you sad to see Toontown go? Is it a place that you visited, or maybe you took your kids to see? Some people are already talking about Snow White, saying, please, 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 let it be true. I want to know how many people are sort of in love with that classic dark ride and maybe wouldn't like to see a change happen to Snow White's Scary Adventure. Crossgan says they never spent much time in Toontown. Kelly likes Toontown. Let's see. Barnstormer used to be my favorite. I like Snow White. Mouse Geek would love to see a Snow White mine coaster. New Jersey boy at NC State says Snow White gone. Not one of my favorites. Sad to see the houses go. So I think it's interesting because some of us are sad to see Toontown go for a variety of reasons. Those of us with kids know that a lot of kids enjoyed walking through, interacting. It was very much a hands-on experience at Toontown. I, for sort of somebody who loves the details and the story, hate to see it go, because part of the thing I enjoyed doing about the Toontown audio guide was pointing out how many adult-oriented details were in there. And by adult, I mean references to old Disney classic animated shorts, Disney Imagineers, a lot of things that kids wouldn't pick up, but adults could and should go through and try and go and spot. There were references to attractions at Disney's Hollywood Studios. There were references to the original Mickey's Birthday Land. So I'm sad to see it go in that regard, although, of course, with change comes new opportunity. So I'm, of course, excited to see what may happen with the expansion of Fantasyland. I am a classic dark ride guy. I still love Snow White's Scary Adventures. I'd ride it without my kids. So in a way, I'm sad to see that go, but I'd be curious to see what may come in there. Somebody saying maybe they're going to make Snow White's queue like Pooh's. Elizabeth is excited to see what is going to come. Snow White can go, just don't touch Peter Pan. Well, let me ask you this. What Fantasyland attraction, if any, would you like to see go or change or be updated as part of the Fantasyland expansion? I'll monitor the chat here, but I also want you to comment if you're watching on YouTube in the comments section below. Keep the conversation going there. Disney Daddy, not a big fan of Snow White. Disney Dan wants to add. Some people are saying to get rid of Pooh. Mikey wants to see the Fantasyland Skyway come back. I would as well, although I have a feeling that's probably not in the plans for Fantasyland. 20,000 Leagues probably not coming back as well. So Crosscan says he has no kids, so it doesn't really linger very much in Fantasyland. I think what you're really going to see happen is when Fantasy does open in its phases, it's really going to be sort of the gatebuster area where everyone with kids, even some of us that may go without our kids, is going to rush to see, because there's going to be a lot to see there for kids. So there's going to be that dash to splash, the race to space, and the mob heading through Cinderella Castle over to Fantasyland. So again, would love to see more comments as we continue the discussion here and over on the YouTube channel. Another quick small bit of news, pardon the pun, because they're kind of small like me. The Dragon Legend acrobats over in China in Epcot's World Showcase are also going to be leaving in February 2011 as their contract is over. They are an amazing group of small, agile, very strong, and very balanced students from the Pu Yang Academy and of acrobatics in China. That is one that always draws a crowd. And my question to you, again, here in the chat room, already people are saying that they like those acrobats. The acrobats are great. What's your favorite performance group? Which one of the performance groups on Epcot World Showcase Promenade do you enjoy the most? Which is the one that you make it a point to go and see? Which is one maybe that you haven't seen that you want to make it a point to go and see? If you haven't seen the acrobats and are going to be there before February, I highly recommend going to watch, videotape it, because they are truly amazing. And remember, they're kids. I mean, they're young kids, and maybe the oldest is 14 or so. Mikey likes the drum peeps. Mikey, I think you mean the Taiko drummers in Japan. They are very close to being my favorite. The British Invasion, very, very popular in the Back by the Hedge Maze in the UK Pavilion. Acapella group in American Adventure, Voices of Liberty. Incredibly beautiful, very, very talented. Ashley in Michigan also says that. Crisby 2000 vehemently says Off Kilter, the group over in Canada. Very, very much a favorite. A lot of times that's sort of an audio weenie because you can hear them across the lagoon. That has a tendency to draw people over to that side. I know that they are very, very popular. The CDs also sell very, very well there. Tony also says he likes Off Kilter. Rob Luck fan loves Off Kilter. Big Yanks like Sergio, the Italian mime over in the Italy Pavilion. Magic City Mike also likes Miyuki, the only female candy artist who is also in Japan. There's a lot of good stuff to see in Japan. Part of the reason that's one of my, if not my favorite pavilion in World Showcase. Got to go back and check out the video I did as I walked through and ate my way through the Japan department store. Mouse Geek loves Morocco, Moroccan, sorry. And Tony Caggiano misses the living statues. Yeah, they were once in France. They also moved over to Italy. Now, unfortunately, that they're gone. Does anybody remember Nova Era? Nova Era once played in Italy as well. They were a 3 or 4 piece classical band. They were sort of dressed in the very formal old attire and played sort of a new age version of classic music. They actually appear sometimes now in downtown Disney. I saw them by accident a few weeks ago in front of Portobello, not far, right by Fulton's Crab House. They are wonderful. If you haven't had a chance to see them, those were one of my favorites. Florida Mingo also enjoys Living Statues. Yeah, Disney, join me. We saw them by the Meatball Bar over in Portobello. Florida Mingo also misses a very American vibe. Tony Caggiano going old school. The Bubble Guy in France. Nice one. Disney loves the mariachi in Mexico. So yeah, there's a lot to see, a lot to do. Yes, even besides the food and the attractions and the shopping inside. I'd love to hear more from you who may be watching on YouTube. Which one of the World Showcase Promenade entertainers is your favorite or was your favorite? Surprisingly, nobody brought out the old Tapestry of Nations or Tapestry of Dreams parade. I would have taken that as well. By far, one of my favorite parades. Still music that I play on my iPod and that I really enjoy. Mouse Geek also loves Carol the Piano Lady, the Hat Lady over at the Rose and Crown. The Drummers by the African Outpost, the statues in France, mariachi. Yeah, so everybody sort of has a favorite and one that they make sure they go and see, or ones maybe that they haven't seen. If you haven't seen any of those on the list, you really should make a point to spend an afternoon, spend an evening wandering the World Showcase Promenade and checking these out. Again, keep this conversation going. I want to hear more in the comments section. I said it was a short week this week in Walt Disney World news. I wasn't kidding, but I do want to leave you with one more question, because after 3 years of hype and 20 some odd years of waiting, Tron Legacy comes out in theaters this Friday, December 17th. I want to know, are you excited to see it? Were you a Tron fan from 1982? Anybody else going at midnight on December 16th? I want to talk about this next week if we get a chance. But again, comment in the comment section below here on YouTube. Don't forget to visit the website over at WDWradio.com. Check out our weekly blog post. This week, we have photos of the construction of the Aulani Disney Vacation Club Resort in Hawaii. We got a picture of a cool custom Tron Vinylmation sent in by a listener. And I'll give you a hint about a post that's coming up this week with the marathon coming up in early 2011. A lot of us, when we were training, and by training, I mean hitting the gym once, but a lot of you who go out and train for the marathon love to have Disney music on your iPods or on your Zune or whatever player it is. So my question to you is this. Help us make out a Disney running ultimate playlist. What Disney music do you have on your iPod to really get you going, to get you pumped for that workout or for that training for the Walt Disney World Marathon? Again, don't forget to visit the website at WDWRadio.com for more videos, the archives of all the podcasts, the free WDW Radio iPhone app. Keep the conversation going in our fun, free, very family-friendly discussion forums. Lots more. If you want to be heard on the air, you can call the voicemail at 888-703-2171. You can also email me directly at lou@WDWRadio.com. Again, come by, join the Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and until next week, I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.